everybody, my name is B. Welcome back to the channel. I own quite a few albums, and I thought it might be fun to talk about how I actually interact with them, specifically how I interact with my collection every single morning while getting ready. So this is a week with my shelf, 3rd Gen edition. Day 1, Blackpink, Square Up. I started tracking on a Monday, and I'm not someone who categorically hates Mondays. I am not Garfield, but on that specific day I needed to do a lot of tedious tasks while also feeling particularly unmotivated, and whenever that happens I reach for Blackpink. Blackpink is not one of my favorite groups, but they are a group that to me is easy and uncomplicated. Their songs are so full of energy, they feel almost like blunt force motivation. Bit of a side note, I guess, but I do really think that you need artists like that to achieve a, balanced music diet. Meaningful and deep connection to an artist is great, but sometimes it's nice to just follow someone casually and go into a release with no expectations and just vibe. That's how I chose this album specifically as well, by the way. I just picked the first one on the shelf that I could reach, and it did its trick. I felt very motivated afterwards. Day 2, Red Velvet, Ice Cream Cake. On Tuesday, I had enough time to linger a bit in the morning, and I was also still a bit done from Monday, so I wanted something more chill and mellow. That's why I chose Ice Cream Cake. It was a really nice and slow start to my day, and yes, I skipped Ice Cream Cake, the song. I just really wasn't in the mood for that. The rest of the album, however, was perfect. Day 3, Twice, Fancy. Wednesday was a typical German summer day, which means the sun was nowhere to be seen and it was drizzling. Yay. Fancy, therefore, was my attempt at brute forcing a summery atmosphere. It kind of worked. I still didn't feel super summery, and obviously the weather wasn't impressed by my song choices at all. I wish it was, but at the very least, I didn't feel like a grumpy old man inclined to talk about the weather the entire day, so a win is a win. Day 4, BTS, Wings. I've been slowly going through my shelves recently, reorganizing some of them, partially because I felt like moving my stuff around, and partially also because I got new stuff. Wings was originally placed on my bookshelf, which is the most accessible shelf I have, and I was trying to decide whether or not I should keep it on there. The deciding factor is always how likely is it that I'm going to reach for an album in the near future. After listening to the album, I decided to put it away for 2 reasons. Number 1, Wings kind of gives me winter vibes as an album, which obviously means I'm not likely to listen to it for at least a couple months right now. And number 2, I just don't think Wings is a particularly good album in the sense that it's not a very cohesive album, and I'm much more likely to listen to the individual songs as a part of a playlist rather than reaching for the album specifically. That's just always a risk you run into when you release an album that's so solo song heavy, and I really don't think there's a good way to go about that in the first place, if I'm being honest. If you still create incredibly cohesive songs, then that automatically means you can't really adapt well to the individual performers, so why are those songs solo songs in the first place then? But if you focus on the individual performer, you end up with songs that are incredibly distinct and personal, but that don't necessarily go well together. Also, you might have noticed we've got our first unranked songs here. These songs are unranked because I didn't listen to them, so I cannot tell you their exact placement. And I didn't listen to them because I don't really like them. They're too rap heavy for me personally. The only thing I can tell you is that they would take up the bottom 4 places. Day 5, Oh My Girl, Coloring Book. The first 4 days I listened to albums that I knew quite well, so on day 5 I wanted to switch it up a bit with an album I don't reach for that often. Coloring Book was perfect for that. I actually got this album late last year as a freebie, and I haven't really listened to it beyond those initial 1, maybe 2 times. It's a very bright, bubbly, and energetic album that didn't really fit the winter vibes, but is perfect for summer, and I loved listening to it now. It was exactly the variety I needed. Day 6, Mamamoo, Hello. On Saturday, I noticed that I had coincidentally listened exclusively to third generation artists, and I thought that was kind of hilarious, so I decided to turn this into a themed week. I like doing those sometimes because they allow me to explore my collection more deeply and in different ways, which is a way of saying it prevents me from just reaching for the same 10 albums over and over and over and over again. I didn't specifically choose Mamamoo, they're just very visibly stored on my shelf and were basically the first group I saw once I had decided on my theme. I'm really grateful I went with them though. Ever since they went on hiatus, does anyone know what their deal actually is right now? Because I don't. Anyway, ever since they went on hiatus, I haven't really reached for them, but returning to Mamamoo was so nice. I really missed them, and I never even realized. Hello is unranked, not because I don't like it, but because it's an intro with like a very specific function it fulfills, and it felt unrankable. Day 7. EXO. Exodus. So, this is the point where I'm letting you in on a little secret, and that is that this video, and I really hope you didn't notice it yet, is a filler video. That doesn't mean I didn't want to make it. I am incapable of making videos talking about things I don't enjoy or don't feel passionately about. I have tried that in the past, it really doesn't work, but I've had an idea for a different video a while ago, and ever since all of my creativity has been basically monopolized, I've actually tried to come up with ideas because I missed making videos so much. It's such a good creative outlet. But whenever I try to think of something, I'm drawing a blank currently. And why am I telling you this? Well, because I chose EXO for my final day because I just interacted with them for that other video I'm slowly, very slowly making, and I couldn't get their songs out of my head, so I really wanted to listen to more of their music. And that's the week. I do listen to music in other ways and other times during the day, obviously, but I didn't want to track those, mainly because the CDs I play in my car while I'm driving somewhere haven't really changed in a while, and the CDs I play in the evening while winding down haven't really changed since January 12th, and I know that so specifically because that's when I received my Mirotic CD, and it subsequently took up residence in my CD player, and it has yet to leave. Seriously, I haven't removed that CD outside of 2 occasions when I really desperately wanted to play it in my car. Ever since, it has stayed there. It lives there now, pretty sure. Yeah, Triangle has joined it around June, so I do listen to Triangle as well during the evening, kind of in tandem with Mirotic, but outside of that, nothing has really changed. And any other time during the day, I mainly listen to playlists, which has nothing to do with my albums and is also harder to track, so I didn't include it. That being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas what I could do, seriously, I probably have to bridge a gap of maybe 1 or 2 more videos before I'll be finished with my other idea. I need help. Leave me a comment and see you next time. Bye!